Hello, anybody, and thanks for tuning in to Monday Morning Handicapping. This is a betting on horse racing edition where I'm going to cover the Superfecta bet. Just a quick agenda items right here. Introduction: this is a new playlist where I'm going to define each bet and share my key factors when placing such bets. This playlist came about when I got a comment on YouTube asking me about the Superfecta particularly and how I like to structure them. So I thought I'd make a playlist and go over all the bets and define what they are basically, and the basic structure, the pricing, and how I like to play them. This playlist is probably redundant for some experienced horse players. You'll probably know how to place the bet and all that. But if you want to stick around and listen to how I like to play them, maybe there's something in it for you. I already have a playlist called How to Read the Racing Form, which is very bare bones just to get people familiar with the racing form. So when they open it up, hopefully they're not scared away from the game, as I intend to bring a new audience to horse racing. So we're going to go over what is the Superfecta bet, define it, basic structures, how to place a bet. This is something that came to my attention. One of my friends let me know that they're not even sure how to ask for such bets. So all the bets will be of similar structure, but I thought why not just start with the Superfecta? It's a little bit more complex. The win bet follows the same procedure, but obviously a lot less to it, as you'll see later. And then we'll go into advanced structure and we'll calculate the costs. My Superfecta ticket construction in various scenarios: when I play Superfectas, when I use the favorite, when I don't use the favorite, or have the favorite on top, and then Superfecta boxing. So note with these videos, for the purpose of these videos, the numbers used for the horses will also indicate the rank of odds in ascending order. So for example, the one horse is number one, but also will be considered the lowest odds, say 1-1. The two will indicate two horse as well as the next lowest odds, so 2-1, 3, so on and so forth. In actuality, this will rarely be the case in any given race. The lowest odds won't be the 1 all the time, and the next lowest the 2 and 3. It might happen once in a while, but don't depend on it. I'm using this just to simplify the video so you can see where I'm placing the favorites in certain scenarios. So what is the Superfecta bet? The Superfecta bet requires the player to choose the horses that will finish first, second, third, and fourth in a single race. Minimums offered with the Superfecta can be as low as 10 cents. I've seen 20 cents, I've seen 50 cents, and I've seen $1, but typically I would say 10 cents is the most common. These types of bets increase the payout by parlaying multiple horses in a single race. The Superfecta is one of several vertical bets as opposed to horizontal bets. Vertical just means that the bet that you're making takes place over the course of one race. It's multiple outcomes. You're picking the first, second, third, and fourth in the Superfecta, but it's all taking place in one race, whereas the horizontal takes place over multiple races, and we'll get into that in a later video. So taking a look at the basic structure, again, the minimums may vary. So when I show you the multiplier, if you're playing for 10 cents, for example, this structure would be times 1. So this would be a 10-cent bet. This would be a 40-cent bet. This would be a $4 bet if you're doing that 10-cent minimum, and so on. So the basic structure, we'll look at A. This is the 1 horse in first, the 2 horse in second, the 3 horse in third, and the 4 horse in fourth. Very simple. That's 1 horse in each placing. Very straightforward. There's only one combination, so it's a multiplier of 1, and the horses would have to finish in that order in order for you to win your bet. Down to B, we have the 1 in first with the 2 or 3 in second, with the 2 or 3 in third, so it could come 1, 2, 3 or 1, 3, 2. And then the 4 or 5 in fourth place, so it would have to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, or 1, 3, 2, 4, or 1, 3, 2, 5. 4 different combinations, multiplier of 4, so that's how you get your 40-cent wager if your Superfecta looks like that. C, you have 2, 4 to finish first, 2, 4, or 5 to finish in second, 2, 4, 5, or 7 to finish in third, and then in this case we're going to do all 8. So say there's 8 horses in the race, there's something you can do called all, or hit the all button, which means every horse in the race in this 4th place slot. That's a multiplier of 40 if you have 8 horses in the race, barring none of them scratch. So that would be a $4 bet for a 10-cent minimum. But then you would need the 2 or the 4 to win, 2, 4, or 5 to run second, 2, 4, 5, or 7 to run third, and then all 8 in the last place slot. So you would have that covered, but that does amp up your multiplying effect. So I would only use that if you felt pretty good about first, second, and third place finishers. We have Superfecta box down here. Say you like the 1, 2, 3, and 4, a Superfecta box. That's a multiplier of 24 because you have 4 horses to finish first, 3 horses left to finish second, 2 horses left to finish third, and 1 horse to finish fourth. Because you're using the same 4 horses in each spot, you have to take one away because whoever finishes first can't finish second, whoever finishes second can't finish third, and so on. A 5-horse Superfecta box. You can have more horses than there are slots. If you use 5 horses, it's going to be a multiplier of 120. So for 10 cents, a 5-horse Superfecta box, any order, would cost you $12 total. 5 horses possibly to finish first, take one out, and then you're down to 4 horses, times 3 horses, times 2 horses, and that's how you come up with the multiplier of 120. So how to place the superfecta. So when you walk up to the cashier, this is the same with win bets, exactas, trifectas, etc. You're going to start off by telling them which racetrack you want to bet on, which race number you'd like to place your bet, the bet type, so win, exacta, trifecta, super, etc. The amount you'd like to play it. This does not include the multiplying effect. So for superfecta, if you want to play the minimum, you would say 10 cents here, not how much you want your bet to cost total. And then your selection. So for example, if we look at B, I might say something like Golden Gate Fields, race number 1, a superfecta for 10 cents, 1, and then each slash indicates the next placing. So you would say with, 1 with, 2 with, 3 with, 4. That'd be a 10-cent bet. For C, same thing. Golden Gate Fields, race number 1, a superfecta for 10 cents, and my selections are 1 with, 2, 3 with, 2, 3 with, 4, 5, and I would hand over 40 cents. Golden Gate Fields, race number 1, superfecta for 10 cents, 2, 4 with, 2, 4, 5 with, 2, 4, 5, 7 with all. Golden Gate Field, race number 1, superfecta box for 10 cents, 1, 2, 3, 4. Multiplier times 24, that'd be $2.40 bet. So what is the superfecta bet? Looking at the advanced structure, I don't typically key or single horses in 3rd or 4th place. It's just not my style. Some people do. If that is your style, more power to you. It's not personally something I do. Picking the top 4 finishers in any given race is advanced enough. So not much to add from the basic structure, but you can see how intricate the structure can get with 4 places. You can have as many horses in the race as you want for each of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th spot. When I'm handicapping races, I'm looking for top contenders, so I can usually narrow down who I think will win, a little less narrow who I think will run 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So for me, I'm a skinny on top, as they say. I'll take 1, maybe 2 horses in the 1st place, followed by 2 or 3 horses in 2nd, and so on and so forth. So advanced structure would take too long just to go over all the possible combinations, but you can see how with 4 slots and all the horses in each race, you can really get carried away and spend quite a bit of money, even with that 10-cent minimum, just mixing and matching. But as always, let your handicapping guide you. If you like 2 horses in 1st place spot, feel free to use 2. In 2nd place, don't get too wide, but put the ones in 2nd place that you think can finish 2nd, and so on and so forth. Just let your handicapping guide you. So my considerations for placing superfecta bets, and as we go forward, you're going to see a little typo up here. It's going to switch back to trifecta. I'm using the same template for most of these videos. So when it switches back to trifecta up here, just disregard it. Know that I'm talking only about superfecta bets in this video. Typically key my top pick on top regardless of price. On top meaning in 1st place. So value or return from any horse winning can be increased via the superfecta, again because you're parlaying 4 different horses in order. Personally, I like to single or parlay a small exacta that I have confidence in. So I'll typically have 1 horse for 1st place, and that's my top pick, obviously. Or if I feel good about the exacta, I like the top 2 finishers. I'll put 1 horse in 1st, 1 horse in 2nd, and then spread in the 3rd or 4th place slot. And like I said, rarely, if ever, and I can't recall a time I've done it, do I ever put a single horse in the 3rd or the 4th place slot. Again, if that's your game, more power to you. It's just not something I do. Examples of some of my superfecta structures, I might have the 1 being the lowest odds. Remember the 1. 1 with 2 with 3, 5, 7 with 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. A multiplier of 12, so $1.20 for a 10-cent minimum. If I love the exacta with a strong favorite, skinny 2nd. So if I love the favorite and say he's 3 to 5, I don't think there's much value, and I really think the 2nd choice can run 2nd, I'm not going to bother adding more horses in 2nd and just increase my multiplying effect. If I like this exacta, I will go cold, as they say, just 1 horse here, 1 horse here, and spread a little bit underneath and try to catch some of these longer shots. Of course, I'd be rooting for the 7 to run 3rd, and then the 8 or 9 to run 4th, just because when you have the longer shots, it pays more. Skinny 2nd. Skinny just means not a lot of horses. I don't want to double my multiplier by adding 1 extra horse in this slot and spend $3, $4, $5, $6, $7. And for a 10-cent minimum, that's about how much you might get back with the favorite winning. So if I like the favorite on top, go skinny in the 2nd leg and then try to catch a price underneath. Some people might spread in the 2nd place slot and go skinnier, 3rd or 4th, but again, not really my game. Look at example B, 1 with 4, 6, 7. So these are some longer prices, 4 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1, with 4, 6, 7 to finish 3rd, with all in the last spot, just to cover myself because I am taking prices in 2nd and 3rd. Multiplier of 36, so $3.60 bet for a 10-cent minimum. Boost ROI on the favorite with those prices underneath. Again, I'm taking the favorite, but if I have some longer priced horses or longer odds horses underneath, I want to be covered. So I might go 3x3 in the second and third place slot and just pay to cover that fourth place. Because if some prices run second and third, it doesn't matter what happened in the fourth place slot, I should definitely be getting my money back and then some. And then you just hope that the longest shot possible runs fourth place. 3 with 1, the favorite here, with 2, 4, 5 in third, with 2, 4, 5 in fourth, multiplier of 6, so 60 cents for that 10-cent minimum. Boost ROI on top pick to beat the favorite, keep skinny. So say my top pick is the 3-1 3, but the favorite is a strong contender, and I think my top pick just might edge out the 1. Keep it skinny, go 3 just to beat out the favorite if I think the favorite is strong. Again, let your handicapping guide you, and then make sure you're covered in third and fourth place. And I'll probably have a win bet on my 3, and also if it just beats out the favorite, like my handicapping tells me, maybe cash this Superfecta for maybe $15, $20 or so, depending on the field and all that. The field size, if there's 12 horses, it'll pay more than if there's 6 horses, obviously. There's just more money in the pool. The 5, a long shot, 5-1, over 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a multiplier of 18, so $1.80 for a 10-cent minimum. Boost my ROI with top pick and getting the favorite out of the top 2. So at the 5-1, I would bet it to win, but also if I did not care for the favorite, the 1 horse, try to catch a superfecta. Getting that favorite out of the top 2 slots can really boost ROI. The further out from the win spot the favorite is, the more you're going to get back by rule of thumb. If you can get the favorite out entirely, say this ticket came 5, 3, 4, 2, that would be ideal. That would pay the most coming back. So trying to get the favorite out, but maybe it can run third or fourth. I'll include it there, but really trying to capitalize on my top pick and a race where I don't think the favorite's going to run first or second. But again, let your handicapping lead you there. 2-3 with 2-3 with 1-4-5 with 1-4-5-8-9. This is where I love the top 2 non-favorites. Again, like an exacta, if I love the exacta with these 2, I might play it in a superfecta like this, get the favorite in third or fourth, but also have a chance to hit a price, especially when trying to beat the favorite. That can just make a great return. I will superbox 4 horses when I have 2 or more long shots that I feel are win contenders. So any order, and again, it's a multiplier of 24, so $2.40 bet. If I really like some long shots and I think they're in the mix, I'm not quite sure where to put them. I think the favorite is up in there or not. It doesn't matter. If I just think that it's between 4 horses and I can't really separate them in first, second, third, or fourth, I will box once in a while, but I try to narrow it down a little bit more by one of these other structures listed above. Superfecta takeaways. I like to consider superfecta wagers primarily when I have a strong opinion on at least first and second place finishers. I can be 2 to 3 deep in those positions, but be wary of the ticket cost. Don't use all unless you really feel the longest shot has a good of a chance at running in that spot as the others. So I would never use all in first place personally. Rarely would I do in third place. I feel inclined to use it in fourth as well. Some people will use it in third and not in fourth. Again, you'll just have to play with it and see what works for you over time. I will use it in the last place spot once in a while if I feel really strong and I'm skinny in the first 3 slots. Skinny again, meaning not using a lot of horses. So just take a look back at your structure. If you have the favorite in first place, I would not advise using the all button. You're just going to expand that multiplying effect. And if the favorite wins, the payout's going to be low enough as it is. So really try to hone in and key on what horses you think actually have a chance at running in each of those spots. Though the superfecta is a nice way to play a cheap ticket, have some convictions in your structure. Superfectas can serve as cheap alternative to win bets with a nicer return if you can structure the structure underneath the top selection or selections. So again, instead of a cheap $5 win bet on say a even money shot, spend a couple dollars and play around with some superfectas maybe. Try to get some long shots to run second or third. Don't force it, but if your handicapping says some long shots can run underneath, instead of that win bet for $5 to try to win 5 back, spend 5 on some supers. Maybe hit it for $1 straight where you have the favorite with the second choice, but you play it for $1. Just play around with it. Look at your odds and consider how you want to bet. Maybe an exacta is the right play, maybe a trifecta, maybe you don't have strong feelings on third and fourth place. So just think about that. They are cheap alternatives to those win bets, but only if it makes sense. So see what works for you. Think about multiple scenarios of how a race could go when you're playing your superfecta. So when you do your handicapping, If you think speed horses hold on and can win, maybe the speed horses are the 1 and 3. So you have the 1 and 3 to win. You're not sure which speed horse. The 1, 3, 4, 5, and second. Still, you think those speed horses will hold on to be first and second. Not sure which order, but maybe they don't. One of them doesn't quite hold on for second. So you throw in the 4 and the 5 to run second. Same thing in the third spot, and then you add another horse in the fourth spot. If you handicap and it looks like the speed horses are talented enough and should like the distance, they should be in the mix 1, 2, 3, or 4, then go ahead and include them in each of those spots. Maybe you think that speed horses are going to duel and both of them are going to fade. So say the 1 and the 2 are speed horses. You think they're going to go at each other and get really tired late. Maybe you like the 3 and the 5 to come up and pass those tiring horses. So you go 3, 5 with 3, 4, 5 with here are those speed horses that dueled. Maybe they fade and only finish third or fourth. So you add your top picks with those speed horses that might still hang on for third or fourth here. One of the speed horses hangs on and the other fades. So maybe 2 horses duel and you think for some reason one of the horses might just hang on where the other one gets run out. The speed horses being 1 and 3 here. One of them's going to hang on to win. 2 other horses are going to pass one of these tiring front runners. One of those speed horses doesn't finish in third place, but maybe does hang on for fourth place. So 1, 3 with 2, 4 with 2, 4, 5, 8 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Lots of speed in the race or a new distance set up for deep closers and top spots. Not really a superfecta I play, but if you see lots of speed and just think some long shots can pass by the 2 tiring front runners, maybe you play something like 5, 6, 7 with 5, 6, 7 with 2, 5, 6, 7 with 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Play for multiple scenarios for cheap if you feel strongly and have the budget. Again, this multiplier, I didn't calculate it, but I imagine it's going to cost you maybe up to $10. But let your handicapping tell you how to bet the superfecta, if at all. Look at the races and see how you see the scenario playing out and bet accordingly. You can play multiple superfectas in the same race, all these scenarios, in case the speed horses hold on and win, or maybe the speed horses duel, get tired, and some closers come up. It may cost you up to 10, 20 bucks, but if that's how much you're putting on a win bet anyways, mix it up a little bit and see if you can make something work for you. But bet the superfecta and all bets really on the scenario that you see playing out for you. Again, those low minimums on the superfecta let you play a few more different ways. That's how I would look to play the superfecta, is consider a few scenarios and try to factor that in. Again, I'm going to end these videos with a little public service announcement. Just learn as much as you can before placing any wagers. Study, read, and make picks without betting, and just see how your picks. Do your due diligence, familiarize yourself with handicapping, and see some positive results before you actually start putting your money down. Start small and simple. Don't wager any money you can't afford to lose. Don't overcomplicate wagers. If your top pick is decent odds, don't get too cute with exactas and trifectas if you don't feel confident. Just consider a win bet. Sit back and watch the race. And if you don't have a strong feeling, just pass the race, go get a hot dog, and come back when you have a stronger feeling. Bet primarily based on your handicapping. Don't make last second changes. A lot of times this has burned me, where I like a horse, I stay up all night studying, and then for whatever reason, maybe he's cold on the board, meaning no one's betting him, his odds are drifting up. Some people see that as a good sign, but you'll learn that the tote board is a tool. And when the odds, just stick to your handicapping. If there's something about the horse that you liked and other people don't see it, you're just going to get better odds on your own horse. So nothing worse than changing your mind last second only to see your original pick win. Have convictions in your selections and structure. Bet as narrowly as your handicapping tells you. So don't hit that all button just because you want to be covered. Handicap the race for yourself and bet according to how you see the race shaping out. If a superfecta becomes too pricey with lowered confidence, go back to just a win bet, exacta bet, or no one to pass. Lastly, don't expect to win or make money at horse racing. It's a tough game. There's lots to learn. Keep it fun and have your limits. When you do bet, just get rewarded for your educated guess. Keep your limits within reason. And when you bet just $2 on a horse to win because you saw something that maybe other people didn't see, it's a good feeling just to watch the race play out like you panned out. And just having $2 will make you feel good and that the game is possible to have fun at and to be successful. Consider all wagering as your cost of admission. I say it every time. If I go to a baseball game, I'm probably going to assume I'm spending around $200 with parking, tickets, food, concessions, all that. So if you bring $100 to the track and you go home without it, keep it at that. Keep your limits and just consider it the cost of admission. The same thing as going to a baseball game or a football game. It's just the price of attendance. And if you walk out with some extra money, that's just the cherry on top. Your handicapping was key, and I hope you stuck to your guns. But that wraps it up for this video. Like, subscribe, share. I'd really appreciate it. Especially share with some people who you think might be interested in horse racing. Really trying to get some new faces to the track and get the popularity of the sport booming again. But Again, thanks for watching. I hope you all learned something, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.